much. So, Brian Azzarello. Brian, so first of all, so nice to have you here with us for the first edition of CCXP Cologne. Hope you're enjoying our time. We are excited to have this kind of show in another country, first time we do that. And you were one of our guests in Brazil a few years ago.
Yeah.
It was like 2016 or something?
I think it was 2016.
Yeah. But it was about the time you and Frank Miller were releasing Dark Knight 3.
Yes. Was it collected then, or I don't remember.
The first issue.
The first
just
issue
came out.
Okay.
Yes, it was about that time.
It was probably 2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
15. Oh yeah, 2015. First time that Frank was there.
Yeah.
Awesome. And once again, thank you very much for joining us.
Oh,
You're in Cologne.
it's great, man. It's great to be here.
First time in Germany?
No, I've been to Berlin before. It's the first time I've been in a show in Germany.
Oh, nice. First time here for me as well, and loving everything so far. So, talking about your career, you started way back at Comico, right?
Sort of, yeah.
How was that?
How was that? That was like working for a monkey.
Really?
Yes, it was. My boss threw shit at me every day.
When was that?
Oh man, back in the 90s, mid 90s.
Mid 90s.
Yeah.
You were, but that time you were working editing. What
No,
were you doing?
I wasn't doing. I was doing everything.
Okay.
I mean, it was ridiculous. It was a really like, man, everybody who worked there had to do everything because there was not enough people there. You know, and it was just pure chaos.
A small company, right? So everybody does pretty much everything.
Well, yeah, and people were quitting all the time because the guy we were working for was insane. And it was not good. And I mean, when I quit, I just kind of left. You know, it's like, all right, I've had enough, and I just like walked out the door.
Sometimes that's what we just have to do, right?
You gotta get to that point, you know?
And from there, you, and when did you start writing for comics?
I was writing there because he wasn't paying any writers.
Okay.
And he wanted to publish stuff, so I was like, I'll write it. And then he wasn't paying me, which is why I walked out.
Makes sense?
Yeah.
I would have walked out as well. And what about DC?
What about these things?
DC Comics.
They pay me.
That's nice. Yeah, that's why you're still there, right?
Yeah, it is.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
I would stay there as well. As long as the money is coming, right?
As long as it's coming. It does, it comes. So if I write, money comes, so we trade.
That's a trade, fair trade even.
Oh, yeah.
And your first work for DC was 1997 or something?
Was it that? Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
It was when I was doing like the anthology titles for Vertigo.
Weird War Tales?
That was the first thing, yeah.
Yeah, awesome. And not long after that, you started 100 Bullets.
There were a few other anthology titles in between that, and then Johnny Double, and then...
Oh, Johnny Double, of course. Yeah. Also with Eduardo Risso.
Yeah, Johnny Double was our audition. You know?
That's a very good one. No wonder you started 100 Bullets in 1999.
Yeah. Yeah. I pitched 100 Bullets, the same pitch meeting as Johnny Double.
Oh, okay.
To Axel Alonso. And he said, and Axel that's how I got into comics, I mean, into paid comics.
Okay.
Was like through Axel. Axel like got me in, and because he was really working like to get some new writers into Vertigo. That's what the anthology titles were for. And he sent me Johnny. He said like, listen, I need. I'm gonna send you some material for Human Target. You're probably not going to get the job, but I want you to pitch me anyway, because I just want you to go through the exercise of doing it. But I'm going to include something else, this character named Johnny Double. It was one issue in Showcase in like 1968 or something like that. And so I got that, and I liked Johnny Double better than Human Target. And so I did pitch Human Target. I didn't get it, like he said. Peter Milligan was already lined up to do it. Peter Milligan and Eddie Kubert did that miniseries. It was amazing. And so then I pitched him. He said, like, all right, you like Johnny Double? Give me a pitch. I gave him a pitch. And I said, I got this other thing. It was 100 bullets. And he really liked that. But he said, you know, I could probably get you a four-issue mini-series before I can get you a 100-issue ongoing series. So let's try this first.
Working pretty well. You had 100 issues after all.
Yeah.
And quite a few awards as well.
Eisner.
Let me help me here.
Eisner's, some Harveys,
yes.
Some other ones, I don't know.
And Eduardo Risso also.
He's got
his fair share of awards as well, right?
No, he hasn't.
not a fair share, because he deserves more.
He deserves more.
He always deserves more. Yeah. Eduardo Risso is such a creative force in comics, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, he's. I think Eduardo is really an artist's artist.
Yes.
You know, artists look at Eduardo and they're like, they're like, oh, I quit.
A lot of people look up to Eduardo. He's really amazing.
Yeah.
And you've been working together quite often, actually, right? Because you had that stint on Batman with Broken City.
Yeah.
Also, Flashpoint.
We did that.
Another very cool Batman story, by the way.
Thanks. We did that. We did Spaceman. We're doing what? Moonshine. We're doing Moonshine right now for Image.
Yes.
So yeah, we've been working together. We've had a long relationship.
Yeah. In a time that when this kind of partnership, long-term partnerships in comics are not that common anymore, you're still doing that, and everything that comes out is really, really awesome.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, we respect each other. We get along, you know, and it's not like. I mean, we've developed a pretty close friendship. I mean, we've been together. It's gonna be 20 years pretty soon.
20 years.
In fact, it probably already is 20 years because Johnny Double came out in '98. I want to say.
Around that. Yes, 20 years in current.
Yeah, we've had our 20th anniversary. Oh, I forgot to get him a present.
and you also have also worked with Lee Bermejo.
Yeah, nearly as long. I mean, maybe we'll have 20 years in maybe 3 or 4 years.
And with him, you had Lex Luthor.
The first thing we did was Batman Death Blow.
Oh, with Batman Death Blow, yes.
And that was when Wildstorm was still separate from DC.
Yeah. But at that time when crossovers were possible.
Yeah.
Nowadays, it's hard. But you had a Batman Death Blow and then Joker.
No, then Lex Luthor.
Lex Luthor was first.
Yeah.
Okay. Before Joker.
We were gonna do. We haven't done it, and we probably never will. We're going to do OMAC, One Man Army Corps.
Oh, with Lee?
Yeah.
Totally in. I love OMAC.
Yeah, I mean that was like after we'd finished Batman Death Blow, we're like, Jim Lee was like, well, what do you want to do next? And we were both like, and Lee's like, I want to do OMAC. I'm like, oh, we can do OMAC. And it's like, let's do it, but let's really grunge it up and make it, a little bit more punk rock.
Nice.
And so that was going, and Lee had to finish up a commitment. And in the meantime, Dan DiDio got hired. Or he might have been hired, but he got promoted, so he was in charge of things. And I had a lunch with him, and he was like, so you're going to be doing OMAC? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, you know, he goes, I think that's a waste of time for you guys. I'm like, what? He says, no, I think you should be doing like one of the bigger characters. And I said, like who? He goes, like Superman. I go, I don't want to do Superman. And then he said, well, what would you want to do? And I go, like, I'd rather do Lex Luthor than Superman. He goes, okay, you can do Lex Luthor. And
yeah, I love the book. It's a really nice one.
yeah, so I called Lee and they're like, what do you think about doing Lex Luthor? And he's like, what? And we started talking about it, and it was like, yeah, let's do it, you know.
Yeah, it turned out great. We love that one. And then again for Joker.
Joker. Along the way, while we were doing Lex Luthor, we kind of were getting on each other's nerves.
Happens. It happens.
So, and when we were finishing it up, it was, we both agreed not to work together anymore. That it was just like, all right, you know what? Let's be friends. We don't have to work together. It's just better that way. And it's like, okay, great. And I was in San Diego, and again, I was having lunch with Dan DiDio. And Dan was, it was just like when Lex was finishing up or being collected or something. And he's like, we want you to do, we want you to take all the Justice League major villains and do what you did with Luthor. And I'm like who? And, you know, Sinestro. And I'm like, I don't know shit about Sinestro. and Cheetah, and I'm like, you're kidding. You want me to do a character called Cheetah? I said, like, the only one I know I really have any interest in, it would be Joker. And he's like, well, do you want to do Joker? And like, no. It's like, and I said, besides Dan, Lee and I have decided we're not going to work together. So, but Lee and I were having dinner that night, and we had dinner, and I said, like, hey, this is what Dan wants us to do. And he was like, I don't want to. I don't know anything about Sinestro or Cheetah. What's the Flash's villain? And I'm like, hey, he's got a whole bunch. He's got a whole rogue gallery. But then we started talking about Joker and the way we would approach Joker. And we're having this dinner, and it was like, you know, we're talking this thing through, and it's like, God, that's a good story. It's like, too bad we're just not going to do it. And Sarah was with Lee at the time. She's like, she shakes her head, and she was like, she's Italian. She's like, you two will always work together. And she was right.
And one of the most recognizable images of the Joker came from that book. Like what Lee created with
the cover.
For the
oh, you mean?
cover,
Yeah.
And this scar.
That actually appeared in Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah.
There's a newspaper, and it's the Joker's on the cover of the newspaper. Batman's arresting him, and it's that same look.
And also about comics, not only writing a lot of very, very cool, important stuff, you were also a character, right? Kingdom Come.
Yeah, I was.
Alex Ross is a friend.
Yeah, he made me a character. My name was 666.
I remember that one. When I first saw the book, I was like, looks like Brian.
Yeah, it was. I didn't survive.
Oh, yeah. The big blast in the end, right?
Yeah, I got killed.
Spoilers. Spoilers. Like 20 years late, but we still spoiled, right?
I didn't make it out of Wonder Woman either.
Oh, yeah. Let's jump to Wonder Woman. New 52. So you and Cliff.
Yes.
You had a very successful, and I absolutely love it. I even tell you guys this. I have the statue, the Wonder Woman statue. I brought the base to be signed by Brian. That's a very, very nice and very. Everybody loves your time in Wonder Woman. What were you interested about the character? Was Was she offered to you? Did you ask for it? Did you fight for it? What's the story?
All right, this time it was a dinner with Dan DiDio.
Okay, then again in the picture.
Yeah, I had agreed to, he'd been trying to get me to do one of the Justice League characters on a monthly basis. I kept saying no. And then finally, I came up with something that was like, all right, this is what I would do. And he was really happy about it. Jim was like ecstatic. And so we were at dinner, and it was when, just like when the New 52 was going to begin. And he was like, and I'm like, so what's, he told me what Grant was going to do with Superman and some of the other things. And then I said, like, well, what are you doing with Wonder Woman? And he told me what the plans were. And I said, you can't do that. And I said, you will fundamentally break that character, and in a really, really, really bad way. I was like, you are not considering the bigger picture and what that character represents. And so then I was like, and he's like, well, no, this is what we're gonna do. And then I said, like, well, what if you do this instead? What if you do this? Okay, what if this, and then like by the end of the dinner, I'm writing Wonder Woman, and I'm not writing this other character anymore. So I took that job. I didn't even care about Wonder Woman at the time. But it was like, I needed to, I got protective of, and I totally disagreed with what he was going to do.
It turned out so great. You were on the book for how many issues?
I don't know.
Like several years, right?
Yeah, it was 3 years, give or take. Like 36, 35, I'm not sure.
Yeah. That's a long time. One of the most successful books from the New 52 in the end. People should talk a lot about it. And it's coming out in omnibus.
Yeah, I think that's out already.
Yeah, I think it's out already in the US, yes.
Yeah, but then they retconned it, so like everything we did.
Yeah. DC.
What?
Retcons in DC.
Oh my God! The problem with DC is they put people like no.
Okay, no subject. The Dark Knight.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it. The background story of The Dark Knight 3.
The background story of Dark Knight.
Yeah.
It was Jim Lee this time.
Oh, okay.
Jim calls me and says, listen, we've been talking to Frank about doing a Dark Knight universe. He wouldn't have to write it, he would just oversee it. But we would get other writers. And he said the only person that he would want to do it was me. And so Jim said, would you be interested? I'm like, yeah, sure. I mean, I thought it was one of those things that's like, it's not going to really happen. And it didn't. And then like 2 years later, I got a call, and it's like, Frank wants to talk to you about something. Okay, so I go over to studio, and that's when it's like, I want to do Dark Knight 3, but I want you to write it with me. Okay. I mean, what am I going to say no to Frank?
No. The book was also really successful because we had Dark Knight 3 and the backup stories that were not actually backup because they were in the middle of it.
Oh yeah, the minis, yeah.
The minis, and then we had the Joker story by Romita, by John Romita Jr. And but was it while you were working on Dark Knight or right after that you started working again with Eduardo on the new book?
I think we were definitely getting it going then.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Maybe
because Eduardo was taken out of the game for a while when he was working on that graphic novel with Paul Dini.
Okay.
That took a long time. So he was
the Dark Knight.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And then we in the middle or towards the end of that was when he like contacts me and is like, we need to do something again. And it's like, okay. And it's like, here's some ideas we feel like doing.
And so Moonshine, what is it about?
Moonshine's about gangsters, prohibition, and werewolves.
I can't think of a better combination. So it's coming out. It's an image book, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So is it a mini series, a regular series?
Yeah, let's see. We've put out 2 books so far. The 3rd story arc is about to be solicited next month. It's gonna be 5 altogether.
Oh, 5 altogether.
Yeah.
Nice. And you're having another shot at Batman right now, right? Also with Lee, so yeah.
And we're done.
So the new book is how many issues? Two issues came out already, right?
No, the 3rd one's out.
The third, oh yeah, in the US, okay,
Yeah.
of course.
3rd one came out this week.
Okay, is the last
Last one.
so 3 issues
Mm-hmm.
under Black Label.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Anything more? Anything else planned for Black
Oh, it's
Label?
mature readers.
Anything else planned for this year, Black Label, or
Nothing's planned.
nothing's planned?
That doesn't mean nothing's not gonna happen.
Yeah, not at all. Until the next meeting with Dan or Jim, right?
I don't know.
You never know.
You never know. I have 1 commitment left.
Oh, okay. Not yet announced.
No.
Okay. Let's wait. Guys, we can open for questions. So if you have a question, it's a matter of raising your hand, and you should give you the microphone. So questions? Yeah, awesome.
Hi Brian, you wrote the Killing Joke, didn't you? And I want to ask you, how did you get into that? And did you have something to do with Alan Moore? And because you both are quite the characters, we got something.
Well,
Did you have contact with him?
no. No, he doesn't want to have contact with anybody as far as that goes. I mean, that's his MO and this stuff. Warner Animation asked me to do it, asked me to do the adaptation. When they originally did it, they were like, we're going to do R-rated superhero animated stuff. I'm like, oh, that's kind of it's a big deal. And it's like, yeah, we want you to do, adapt Killing Joke. Like, well, that's definitely R-rated. But they said, like, well, it's not long enough. Because they like, those animation guys, they can read something, it's like, it's 5 minutes, because they see it in a different, they see it in a different way. And they said, I think that the Killing Joke for them was coming in at about 18 minutes. And so we need another 5 minutes. So there's stuff in the actual real Killing Joke story that wasn't in Alan's book, but in this, that I, when I was adapting it, it's like I threw like the kangaroo court and some of that stuff. Then, so it was like the script gets turned in. Here, do these rewrites. Did them. It's like, okay, we're all set to go. Approval is on Monday with the studio. Like, awesome. And then that weekend, Watchmen came out, which was R-rated superheroes, and it didn't do very well. So on Monday, the approval did not come. And so then it just like went in a drawer for a while. And a few years later, I got a call. It's like, we're going to do it, but we need it to be longer still. And so we blocked out. We figured like the character that was really not served in the actual story of Killing Joke was Barbara Gordon. She's there to serve cocoa and get shot, and cry. So we wanted to flesh that character out, give her a story. Her and Batman getting it on the roof, like, boy, I didn't know it was gonna go over the way it did. I'm glad it went over that way. I think that when people talk about something, it's like I'm doing my job right.
Just one question. I mean, I love the work that you did with Wonder Woman for the New 52. For me, it was amazing, and I didn't see something with the character since the time George Perez have done something, and after Crisis Infinity Earth. My question is exactly what do you interrupt yourself from saying? How do you feel that they retcon again the character after such a base that you created for it for the New 52?
Well, that's what they do. And I was, disappointed is too strong of a word. I was kind of pissed. It's like, what the hell? It's like, you guys, you asked me to come and do something, and this is what it's going to, springboard into stuff and create a whole sort of world around her. Because I didn't change her at all. I just sort of changed her world. And so, it's like, okay, I did it. Here you go. Pass it. And I thought I left like a ton of stuff for other people to pick up. Like Meredith picked up on that stuff, and it got picked up in some of those characters were appearing in other New 52 books. So it was like, okay, this has been, it seems successful. And then Jeff and Greg, it's like, well, I went to Wonder Woman from my childhood, and they, change it all. So, what am I supposed to do? It's like, I'm not writing it anymore. But in the movie, Zeus is her father, so victory. And the whole point of that was like, look, everybody says DC has the Trinity, okay? Which is, there's no Trinity. I mean, you say that like, oh no, it's Superman and Batman, but then you think about it, and it's like, no, there's Batman and everybody else. But if you want to play with the idea of a Trinity, there's like, okay, Superman is an alien. Batman is a human. Wonder Woman is what? She's made of clay. No. What is Wonder Woman? We've got a human, an alien, and a god. And that's what my goal was. And to make the gods, like, take them out of the togas, make them sort of like relatable, make them like modern, and just like something, like, these things they're not good or bad, they have like the completely warped moral code. Like, life is to them because they're immortal. So.
What is the story about the scarves from Joker?
What's what?
What's the story about Joker's scars?
How he got the scars.
How he got his scars? I don't know. He said something wrong to somebody. Or he did it himself. That's the kind of thing about, I'm a firm believer that we should never know the Joker's origin. Even though there's a film coming out soon that could be Joker's origin that looks fantastic. And I'm really, really interested to see it. And I know that they were, the filmmakers were influenced by our work. It's not the story in the book, but it's the same universe.
Yes. I like one of the aspects of the Joker that one line that comes from the Killing Joke, that sometimes he remembers things one way, the other times he remembers things the other way. So the origin is something quite open. So
Yeah, it was crazy.
Hey Brian, just a quick one, a longer one. What do you think about the DCU and the experience out of that? And is there any chance that you write a script for the cinematic universe?
There's a chance. You know, I don't know. They're not gonna hire me to do that. No, they'll just, listen, this is what the cinematic universe does. They look at the stuff that Lee and I do, and then they adapt it themselves. And then we get thanked after the recorded in Dolby sound. It's wrong.
Hi, could you give some background on Batman Damned and the controversy about Batman's penis and such?
What do you need?
From your point of view, how did that happen? How do you like how it played out?
I can't stand the way it played out. I don't think it could have been handled any worse. You know, I'm very disappointed the way it was handled. You know, we got thrown under the bus. They dropped us like a hot potato. That book came out this week, nothing, no publicity. In fact, it was anti-publicity. The book comes out, they announce another mature readers project. It's like, thanks a lot.
Yeah.
So am I a little bit bitter? I'm a little bit bitter, at least a lot bitter. But again, look, it's not censorship, okay? Censorship is what a government does to quiet the population or to prevent them from reading some material that they deem is anti-government. That's very serious. This is a company saying like, we don't want to print Batman's dick. Okay, you can do that. But as a publisher, you're supposed to stand behind what you're doing instead of running from it.
Yeah, because maybe you guys don't know how the process works. When Brian and Lee are working on a book, it's not something that comes out of their minds and goes straight to print. So there's an editor, there's someone in English actually saw it.
They printed galleys and sent the galleys to retailers. There was no dialogue in it, but it was like all the pages without the dialogue. Retailers had that thing in their hands. Batman's dick in there. I can't. You guys are supposed to get that. It's the German crowd, man. But so it was out there. Everybody had seen it. It was in the office. People knew. It's like, wow, this is big. It was exciting to people. It's like, this really is for mature readers. Okay. And no. And when when we were discussing it originally, I'm like, well, what is mature readers to you guys? And I'm talking to editorial, Dan, and I said, he's like, well, you know the boundaries. I mean, you know how far you can go. And I said, HBO, and he said, yes, HBO. Well, so I went HBO.
That's very, very HBO.
I went HBO with the wrong character.
Oh, like let's say Catwoman's nipple wouldn't be a problem.
I don't know about that, but Wonder Woman's might be, except in Dark Knight, she breastfeeds.
She breastfeeds, yes.
So, I don't know, is there a double standard? I don't know. It's like it's all happened. We could talk about this for hours. We really could.
Sure.
Hello, thanks. So, can you give me or us an insight of a typical Brian working day?
Let's see. Do I give you what I want you to believe is my regular working day, or what my regular working day is? Well, after I've finished rearranging the spice rack for the 9th time, I'll sit down and actually get to work. You know, I try to get to work in the morning. Usually it's like late morning when I finally get to it. My biggest enemy is the internet. Just like yours.
Tell me about it.
I don't have to, you're looking at it right now.
Yeah. Actually, I have my notes for the panel, so yeah.
Yeah, like once you start like you know, it's a rabbit hole, man. It's like I wake up and say, well, let me check my email. And then it's like start answering some email, and then it's like, there's other things going on in this little box. Let's see what's going on there. Oh, what was the scores last night? Oh, you know, and then, oh shit, time to work. But I generally work, I don't know, 5-ish hours a day, probably. Maybe a little more. I come back to stuff. Usually what I do, like when I'm working, when I'm actually working on a script, I'll write the dialogue, and I don't do any of the art direction or blocking in there at all. Just like write the dialogue, do the whole thing, let it sit, and then come back later and do that kind of stuff. You know, I try to get done an issue every 10 days or so. Try. I'm not always successful.
I have a question. It's maybe a little bit technical, but you also did Wednesday comics.
Yeah.
I did also Batman with Eduardo.
Yes.
Was it different to do a one-page story, like newspaper sized?
It was fun, and the way I approached that was like old Sunday comics, like Dick Tracy. Okay, where you could miss everything that happened during the week and still kind of understand where you were in the story, like in Dick Tracy. It's better when you read the stuff in the week, but you don't need to. So that was the way I kind of approached Wednesday comics. Like, okay, we'll just do this strip, and it's like this Sundays, this Wednesdays. There's stuff that happens in between, but they don't need to know everything all the time. I think that book, I mean, then it's all collected. I thought when we were doing it, it was one of the stories that was working really well structurally. Okay, that like you can pick it up, read the one page a week, and it's like great. And then the next page the next week, and it was like, and with the time in between, it was good. I think collected, it doesn't work. It's not as successful
Because you don't have these.
you don't have to block a time. Yeah.
But it turned out great. The story is very, very awesome, and so of course Eduardo started working on it.
Yeah.
But I was curious because you know you don't have 20 pages, so you have only one, and then bang, and the next week bang again. So it's storytelling is different, right?
Yeah. But it was fun to do that. But it was a lot of work for Marcelo, and we didn't do another one.
Oh yeah.
Because when it was done and it was really successful, it's like Mark, and he's, I'm talking to him. It's like, doing another one. Oh, that was too much work.
There was so many artists working in different characters and everything, and every week coming out 12 issues. How many issues? I don't remember. It was a lot. I have the whole backing.
I think it was 7 or 8. Or was it 12? I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't recall. But yeah, I remember it's a lot.
It was the summer event, so maybe it was like
took several weeks.
Yeah.
I remember that. With Eduardo, as we mentioned him, anything else?
Who, by the way, happens to be in Germany right now.
Yes, he's in Germany right now.
We found, like 2 weeks ago, he sends me an email, and he says, like, I heard you're gonna be in Germany. I'm like, yeah. And he goes, so am I. I'm like, really? It's like, oh, I didn't know you were doing that show. It's like, I'm not, I'm doing this show. It's like, what?
Now, Eduardo is a friend of mine, and when I got in touch with him to invite him to come to this show, he was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm already booked." I was like, "Okay, I would rather go to your show, but I'm already booked. I can cancel." Okay, then, and now you're here again. He's
Yeah, he's
across the country somewhere else. Questions, guys? Anyone? Yeah.
When you are writing a script for a book, now, do you think only in the book, or do you think, this can be used in a film, in a series, or whatever?
I don't think about that at all. I intentionally keep blinders on. I'm not writing for this to be option. I'm writing this. The most important thing to me is the comic. That's my, that's what's on my shelf. Perfect. And that's what I have control over. Well, control with some other people, but a few people, which is really great. If it gets like moonshine, we've been called a few times for moonshine. It's like, we're not making that available until we're done. You can't option that and write your own ending. HBO.
Hi, what is your favorite book you ever wrote, or comic series?
Did I ever wrote?
Yes.
Hard to pick a child.
Yeah, they're all wonderful children. I'm proud of them in different ways. I don't know. I always say like what I'm working on right now, because it's kind of true.
Mm-hmm.
Like Faithless, I'm really enjoying Faithless. Because I'm involved in the creative process at the time, and that's the best thing for me. I really, when I'm done with them, I don't read them. That said, 100 bullets. We did 100, me, Dave Johnson, Eduardo Risso, Trish, we did 100 issues together. And we very, very rarely missed the deadline.
Wow. 100 issues.
We were doing 12 issues a year except that one where we went bi-monthly because we were doing Batman at the same time, and they were like staggering it like that.
Batman Broken City. Right?
Yeah. So probably that. That said, it's like I just finished Damned with Lee, and that what I'm so. Despite everything that they tried to do to us, I'm so happy with the way that book turned out. And I'm proud of the work that Lee and I did, despite what DC did and their reaction to it.
You mentioned, she asked about your favorite book, the one that you wrote, but somebody else's favorite. Like
somebody else's favorite,
like something that you feel like I wish, like the book that has a very special place in our shop, back at home. Like I really like that one.
Oh, you mean somebody else's book?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, I like Dark Knight. I like Year One.
Yeah.
I think Watchmen's really great. But those are like the everybody says though. Which kind of sucks. Let me think. What do I like? A whole lot. Like I read it and was like, shit. I wish I had that idea. Pride of Baghdad was definitely a shit. I wish I had that idea. I really.
Which one?
Pride of Baghdad. That I think that's what it was called. That Brian Vaughn's book.
Mm-hmm.
About the animals that when
The Pride of Baghdad.
Is that
oh yeah, that's the book. The one with the lions?
yeah
Oh yeah, that was amazing.
yeah I really like that. I think Essex County, Jeff Lemire's Jeff is a fantastic writer. I really like what he does.
And he works a lot because he's always putting out books.
Yeah.
Books. Mike Dodaro, one of the guests here, he's working on a book.
They're doing Berserker.
Yeah, Berserker.
Yeah. But I really like what Jeff does. And Sweet Tooth was really cool. super cool, you know? I think Southern Bastards is a really good book.
Southern Bastards, yes. Are you noting everything? Because something you should look out.
Rednecks, I like. That's Donny Cates' The Hillbilly Vampires. And then Hillbillies.
Are these the books that we're reading right now?
No, I'm not reading any comics.
Yeah. Same thing.
Headlopper, I really like that. Gideon Falls, that's another one of Jeff's books.
Yes, Gideon Falls is amazing.
Yeah.
It's scary.
It's good.
That's good in a good way. And it's supposed to be scary, so yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep after reading book one of.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm so lame. But but it's a really good book. I really love it. Well, I think we have time for a couple more questions if you have any. Guys, you want me? Okay.
And we get out of here early. Oh, no, there's one.
Yay! Oh, yeah.
So, do you read critics of your own work after they get released?
No, not really.
That's wise.
You know. Well, and if I read it, I don't take it to heart either way. You know? If somebody loves what I'm doing and says like, oh, it's great, 10 out of 10, I wish all my fingers were thumbs. Like that doesn't go to my head, and when somebody says, this was the worst piece of shit, like, I can't believe, it's not worth the paper that they printed it on. That doesn't bother me either, or that doesn't, bring me down. It's like, no, if I'm influenced by what they say, I'm weak. But, I mean, for me, like the sweet spot, I tell this to everyone. If I can get 50% of the people to love what I'm doing and 50% of the people to hate what I'm doing, perfect. Because if you love it and you hate it, you're going to talk about it. And you're going to argue on the internet. And that's what the internet's for, besides wasting my time.
Just continuation, did you learn that? Or were you always like that in your young age? Also, how did you manage criticism?
I guess, no, I learned that kind of young. What I did do though, and it was a mistake, this was a long time ago. There was a HELLBLAZER forum. This was a real long time ago. I mean, back when it was like black and white. There was no colors on the internet at that time, I think. But it was when I was doing HELLBLAZER, and there was some sort of forum. I forget where it was. It might have even been an AOL forum for all. Yeah, I think it was. And I was looking to see what they were, and they were like, people were complaining because I was American and I'm doing HELLBLAZER, and I said, and this was before I even started, before anything was printed. I went on and it's like, just give it a chance. And I said, fuck yeah, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. It's like, it's like, I'm not going to engage with people like that anymore. There's a lot of stuff too I don't like it when creators tell you how you should feel about what they're doing before it comes out. And they're trying to control the situation, and they're trying to control what you think about what the work. They're giving you an idea they're trying to plant an idea in your head to like the work before it comes out. I don't think that's honest. I want you guys to here it is, and whatever you think of it, you think of it. I'm not going to come out there and say this is the best thing I've ever done, the greatest work of my career. I'm so proud of this. Wait till you see what happens. All this, that kind of stuff, that hype machine that people are buying into. It's like, man, that's not for me. I really think I get a better reader by not telling you what to read or what to like. True, man.
I think we're done.
That said, if things aren't selling very well, I'm going to tell you, like, please buy this book. It's the best thing I've ever done.
Guys, thank you very, very much for joining us this evening. Brian, thank you so
thanks.
much. Thank you.